Hi, my name is Nanik Tagore, and this is episode 76 of the True to Life podcast. I'm so happy to have you here with me today. I am a former student athlete at Dominican University of California. I technically graduating in middle of May, but no longer am a student athlete anymore as that section of my life has now closed. But as the ethos of this show has been that we're so much more than athletes. We're so much more than just students. And if I've learned anything from my 4 years in college is that we're people first, we're human beings first. And the more that we lean into that empathy and connection as human beings, then that for me, that's ultimately that's the pursuit that we should all be on, is how can I be a better human? And I feel like through my time in athletics, my time as a student, and as I'm entering business, that's the lens in which I'm looking at life through, is how can I be a better human? How can I better impact the lives of others through my pursuits and through things that I'm working on. One thing I've been very focused and mentioned in previous episodes has been values driven and mission driven on whatever projects that I'm working on. So making sure that aligns. Anyway, this episode is serving as a stake in the ground of like where I'm at along this journey. I mean, I could go back and pick any episode of the last 75 episodes and just be dropped into that moment of time, a certain interview with a guest. I could be dropped into any random tangent that I've been on or a helpful tip or trick. But the truth of the matter, the fact of the matter is everything from the past, every episode that was recorded behind this point was beautiful, amazing, and served its purpose. But we're entering a new moment and a new phase in the world, but also myself. I'm in between a transition of not being a student athlete anymore, transitioning into I'm jokingly putting it, full-time entrepreneur or just a full-time human. I have the amazing opportunity to have some businesses that I can work for post-graduation, as well as have some travel, see family, and start to build what my adult life actually looks like. So that's going to be the story in which I get to document here, whether that be in business, whether that be my personal growth and lifestyle changes that I continue to make as I look to question and continue to change my actions and things that I do. For example, what type of food are we eating? What type, all of the things that we buy, from anything from retail stores like the Targets, Amazons, Costco, Walmart, all the way down to what you might think is a local shop on your street. I just mean, start questioning what are the things that we're consuming, what are the things that we're buying, because the truth is, I got a business degree from Dominican University. I learned how corporations and businesses target consumers, how they sell our attention, how they sell our data. Facebook, Instagram, those aren't free apps. I mean, technically they're free, but we're paying with our eyeballs, the two most valuable things, our human essence, our spirit, whatever you want to call it. Those eyeballs, that is what all these companies are competing for, is your attention, what you focus on, however long we spend scrolling on our phone, how long we spend not connecting with other people, not connecting with our community and those around us. More time we're spending on our phone as opposed to talking to neighbors and building ideas, building coalitions, and protesting what is going on. Okay, let me take a breath. Truth is, this episode, I don't know where it's going to go. I have a lot of bottled up frustration. The roadmap that was laid out for me and for a lot of people my age, I subscribe to fully. Go to high school, even. Get good grades, perform well in high school, which I did. I also engaged in my community. I was a student athlete. Played sports, engaged in my community, was very involved with my school district, and then got into a college. And then from there, went and got my degree, played basketball, started to build businesses, doing all of the right things. But somehow, as I feel like I've been doing all of the right things, quote unquote, when I look up or look around, I'm not sure I'm happy where just the general consensus right now. I feel like we're moving more to the future, and like every day we're taking steps. Um, every day, every day you get closer to death. Technically, that's also what this feels like right now, as we've continued to innovate new technologies. Um, it's come at the expense of the human ability to think, to speak, to connect. Those are skills that are lost. Like, I even feel it in myself, guys. Like, I feel it in myself from my sophomore year in college to right now, that my junior year, when I was, like I talked about here, I was relatively antisocial. My junior year was a bit of hermit crab. That was only possible because, I'd come home and I'd have a show to watch, or I'd have my phone to be on, or some other type of distraction. Otherwise, admittedly, it would have been really bad. It would have been bad. It would have been probably more depressed or sad or whatever. And that's really unfortunate that that's where we're going. Is we can't even sit around in public anymore without people being on their phones, or you're waiting for your reservation, or either you're waiting at the bus stop or waiting wherever and on your phone. You're not talking to your peer. You're not talking to anyone. When you're at the airport, headphones in. Walking to the cafeteria, headphones in. I've been guilty of it too. It's something to be aware of first, awareness, action, and then reflection. Those three, just cycling those through. And I'm sorry to be the person with a microphone in his room at like 4:00 on a Monday talking about this, but I want to speak it. I want to practice it, and I want to reflect on it and see if other people will start doing the same. And whether that be, this turns into something where it's check-ins on a monthly basis, on a weekly basis, of people that are also trying to live out some of these principles. It's something I'm passionate about, creating better lifestyle improvements. Something that I've struggled with in college, like making a change, applying the change for a certain amount of time, and then it falling through. Like, why does it fall through? Why does it break? What snaps? Like, why can I not keep stacking days to weeks to months to years? Something breaks. Might be after a few weeks, might be after a few months, but eventually something breaks. I get it. You're young, you have time. That's what you've been told. I've been told the same thing. Even if you're not young and you're listening to this, you still are told that you have time. But the most important thing is the day that we have right now, and what are we going to do about it? So all of that to, wrap into one line is, let's just be more intentional. And I don't know how I can lead by an example with that. I think I do know how I can lead by example by that. And I told my dad this on the phone the other day. You'll not see me on my phone when I'm around family. I think that's the first thing you can do. When you're around your family, when you're around your friends, when you're around loved ones, that phone should be nowhere in sight. Because what you're telling those people around you is that there's things that are more important than me, than you. There's something on your phone that's more important than the physical people around you, which is heartbreaking. Phone call, family emergency, this stuff's different, but in a general rule of thumb, general just concept. So that's something that I'm looking to aggressively implement this summer and see how it feels. I remember I talked about it a few times, that the times that I did put the phone away and the times that I was on my phone less genuinely just felt better. So why did I end up reverting on that? Why was I back to, as I mentioned in the podcast with Danny, I spent a few nights on Instagram Reels, just scrolling, and left sad, felt honestly just used. You feel used. These big tech companies are using you, and they're selling your data to the highest bidder. So that's why you leave feeling depressed, because you've been used. Each scroll is you saying, please continue to use my data, to use my eyes, to use my bank account, use everything. We're willingly giving this stuff away. We're giving it away for free, at the expense of community, at the expense of our own cognitive sovereignty, and the expense of our own just peace. Our mind can't be still if we're constantly putting inputs in. As Danny mentions in our 1 hour and 15-minute discussion on guarding the inputs, how can your mind be free to make decisions, to process your life, when every time you pull on your phone, you're getting 1,000+ million, you're an infinite amount of inputs at any given moment. Any app you open, inputs. Our brains weren't meant for that. at all. And there's people. The other issue too is, now, I'll be honest, even recording this podcast, I'm recording it on a phone, and I'm going to edit it on a computer, and I'm going to post it to a Spotify platform that then is going to deliver it to you on your phone. So yeah, it's also like, yeah, maybe it is all self-defeating too. And like, this is the conflict that I keep coming to when I was talking to my dad at lunch yesterday. I've talked to my brothers about this, talked to some peers about this, but everyone keeps telling me it's not black or white. You got to find somewhere in the middle. So I'm going to try to do that. I still want to record some of this content, try to put the positive message out there, and continue to try to bring services to people that will hopefully lead to a more, not disconnected, more withdrawn from the. I'm working on the framework. I'm working on the wording behind it, but you guys kind of get the gist. Like, let's make steps to get back into connecting and back into community, get back into just having more casual conversations with people. Because humans are craving connection now more than ever. We're more divided now more than ever, quote unquote. But talk to people. You'll see how that's not the case. You know what? The other thing too is the way that I do this podcast, the way I've been recording these messages, is that if there's something that I'm saying that you want to retort, push back on, message it. I'd like to hear it. I'd like to bring other voices on. That's something that I'd welcome and encourage. So please feel free to do that. Or if you like the message, share, retweet, and not retweet, share it, send it to a loved one. Do anything to help get the message out there. Be a huge help to me. I really appreciate it. The other thing I wanted to put in this episode is I want to read my presidential farewell speech. So I've spent 4 years in the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, 1 year at Holy Names, 3 years at Dominican. And so my sophomore year as a regular representative, my junior year as vice president, and this year as president. And truthfully, was honestly one of the highlights of my time in college was the opportunity to be PSAC president. And I want to read that speech for 2 reasons. One, because I want to record it in this space, and then 2, lets me practice and kind of feel it out a little bit. So here goes. For those who don't know me, I'm Nanik Tagore, SAC president, a men's basketball player, and a senior. Every single person in this room chose something hard. You chose early mornings and late nights. You chose practice when your body said stop. You chose a standard that most people never sign up for. That makes us different, not better, different. We know what it means to fight for something together, and that's exactly what this world is going to need from us. Our generation is staring down a mountain range of problems: division, disconnection, and noise everywhere. People talking past each other, walking past each other, without so much of a nod of acknowledgement. People are performing for screens instead of showing up for each other. But in this room, we know what it feels like to lock arms with someone and go to war for a common goal. That's not just an athletic skill. That's the skill that changes how we move through the rest of our lives. This year, our emphasis with SAC was simple: build a better, more connected campus culture. Show up for each other more, not just at games, in life. We weren't perfect, but we made real strides towards that goal. And I thank every single one of you for the role you played in that. My only hope is that it continues. So here's what I'll leave you with. Put down the phone, not forever, just long enough to look someone in the eye, long enough to listen, really listen, long enough to remember that the person across from you has a story just as complex as yours. There's so much more that unites us than divides us. We just can't see it through the screens. When we put away the technology and all the baggage that comes with it, something simple happens. We start to see each other as humans. Not as a jersey number, not as a position, not as a year, as people. Because on the other side of this, no one cares what you averaged. They care about who you are. Before I go, I want to leave you with something that's been sitting with me lately. Eckhart Tolle said, your life, let me rephrase. Eckhart Tolle said, your entire life only happens in this moment. The present moment is life itself. This is the moment. Not the game, not the semester, not graduation, right now. These people in this place. Don't treat it as a stepping stone for what's next. Be here for it. Serving as your SAC president became the highlight of my college career. It gave me purpose when I was searching for it. It gave me a belonging when I needed it most. And that's because of you. You helped me discover what I'm here for. Not basketball, not a stat line. This. Community, connection, and people. Thank you. And then I'd be passing the gavel to the next president, and we'd go on with the ceremony. As I read it out loud, there's a few little things I'd want to switch, some sentences maybe to cut, shorten, and then obviously the delivery on the quote. But I like it. It touches on all the points that I wanted to hit, and under the whole message, around the message of this podcast is the phones. And it terrifies me because they're so ingrained in our lives right now, and it's going to take each and every one of us to start making steps towards this world that I'm striving for, and I know that many of you out there are striving for too. So with that being the message of today, I hope this connected with you in some way. The number one way to grow a podcast is by sharing it, so please send it to a family, person, friend, loved one. It would mean the world to me. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. Like I said, it truly means the most to me, and I'm going to continue to do this, and it's going to continue to evolve as I grow. Have a lot of great conversations, hopefully through this summer while I'll be traveling, and stay tuned for all of that and more. Thank you so much, and I'll be back here next time.